This is the standard 5-port Apeks XTX first stage. I do have the environmental cap off, but this one does have the 5th port, which is very useful for side mount diving. But you see how the turret is now. I've never had any issues with this this particular first stage. I've heard from others that having this 5th port in the part that seals the turret to the first stage has caused problems. I'll be honest, in 12 years of diving this particular set of regulators, using the 5th port, putting in for dry suit or low pressure inflator and side mount, I've never had an issue with this leaking, but I could make up reasons how it could. It is just screwed in there. So if you were to loosen this because you've twisted your low pressure inflator or for some other reason, then this could come out. But this is just a standard connector in here on the 5th port. I'll pull it out here. You have this piece right here. See if that focuses in for you. See, it just screws down. And you have a thrust washer. So that just helps it, and then it screws into this device here. Now, a non-5th port XTX regulator will use this. So this is basically the same thing, right? So same part, it's doing the same thing. It's got your high pressure chamber right in here to push the seat back. You see, pretty much standard. The only difference is this has a 5th port on it. Well, what I've done now is I've moved to a new style head. So instead of the standard turret, which you have here, Divesoft makes an amazing unit here. So you have a 5th port on top, like you did with this, right? But you use the standard sealing piece, so you don't have the problems that some people have reported about this piece leaking. That doesn't exist on this. And but you still have a 5th port should you choose to use it. I'm using these now as bailout cylinders, so I won't be using that 5th port. But it does give some very interesting capabilities as a bailout regulator here. So now you can see I have it assembled, well, semi-assembled. It's not fully assembled, but the regulator can come on, and you see how I can have 3 hoses pointed straight down. So this is really good for a bailout cylinder. Ideally, if everything goes well on a bailout cylinder, the regulators stay in place and you never really need them. But if you do, you can deploy them. This does rotate, and you can bring that QC6 adapter, low pressure inflator, 2nd stage regulator. You can bring it right up to be used. So again, these are the Divesoft adapters for Apeks XTX regulators. And putting them on, I just serviced all these regulators this month, so they're still disassembled for servicing. But looking forward to diving these in the next month. And again, I'm not expecting a whole lot. These are bailout regulators, but I'm just going to see how the hoses stow, if it's a little cleaner, because you see, if you're going to put 3 hoses here, you don't really have. If you put 3 hoses right here, you don't really have a nice clean way of routing them. So we'll see how this turns out.